In my last video, I talked about Sergio Perez and Daniel Ricciardo. And in this video, it's been like a few weeks since I made a video. We're going to talk about Sergio Perez, Daniel Ricciardo, and Red Bull and everything that's going on with Checo. Now, is he actually going to retire at the Mexican Grand Prix, or is his contract going to be cut short for 2024? Are these his last 5 races that he has to prove he should have a seat next year at Red Bull? There is so much speculation around the 33-year-old Mexican driver. Now, yes, without a doubt, he is not producing the result he should producing, right? He's at Red Bull. Max is obviously dominating the season, putting record numbers. They're in the same car. So it's like no one's, I don't think, expecting him to be like Max. But at the least, you should be performing a lot better and should be a lot higher in the drivers' constructors championship than where you are right now, right? Because I think Lewis Hamilton is now 30 points, I believe, behind Checo. So it's like, all right, with what we have, with the car you have, like, you shouldn't be at Max's level, but you should be performing at a much higher level than you are right now. And that's the thing with Red Bull. We all know it. I mean, look what happened to Alex Albon, Pierre Gasly, and even the sister team, AlphaTauri, with Nick DeVries, where you need to produce results right now, right? Like, we need you to be the driver that's going to make it happen right now. And it makes sense, right? You want your drivers to perform and to put up the numbers that you expect them to. But it also kind of sucks that you don't, as a driver, you want to go into the organization knowing that the team, the organization, like, they're going to have your back. And if you're at Red Bull, like, if you're not performing today, they're going to axe you. For instance, all the credit goes to Williams because Logan Sargent, obviously not having a great rookie season, a lot of crashes, a lot of damages, a lot of money being spent fixing his errors. I believe he's the only one that has yet, minus Lance Stroll, that has yet to put up a number, meaning finishing top 10. And even that, to my knowledge, from what I've seen, like, Williams is still very supportive of Sargent. They want to help him. They want to, develop him to be the driver that they expect him to be. Again, that could all be a farce, and they're going to axe him here very soon. But at least, to my knowledge, from what I've seen, like, they're very supportive of him and, like, helping him get to that next level that he should be. And that's the complete opposite of Red Bull. Like, they need a top 2 driver right now. They want a 1-2 every single Grand Prix to this weekend. And on paper, that makes a lot of sense, right? Like, you're gonna hire, or you're gonna get the driver that's gonna deliver results for you. But the problem with that is that, like, if you look at any sports, any team, like, how many times do you actually get a player where they make an immediate impact enough to, like, carry them to the playoffs or to the finals, like, the very next season? And yes, there's a bunch of anecdotes here and there of, like, oh, well, that player went over there and they got better on defense and whatever. Like, there's plenty of ways that you can look at it. But I'm just trying to, like, if you look at the New York Nets, right, the basketball team, and you saw the trade that they had, the big 3 of James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving. And I remember the YouTubers, the comment section, news outlets were claiming, like, this is, the next dynasty for the next 3-4 seasons. Like, it's not going to be a competition. They're going to sweep everyone. Like, it's going to be so crazy of how competitive they're going to be, and, like, just how dominant they're going to be. And, if you follow NBA, you know what happened. Like, you had 3 of, some of the best players in the league, and they were, like, the biggest bust in recent time of the big 3. My point being is, if you're looking to just, like, get a driver, get a player that makes an immediate impact that you need them to perform right now, although, here and there in situations might work, right? Like, look at Nick DeVries when Mercedes needed him as a driver, or Williams. He performed that very race, right? But, after the fact, when he's at AlphaTauri, was performing, they cut him, and then, then what? So it's like, you want a driver that performs right now, but you also need time for that player to develop, to understand, the routes, the schemes, the vehicle, the car, the strategy. So it's like, you also need to have, like, an organization that facilitates that growth, and, like, that's going to be supportive of that driver to get better over time. Like, I get it, like, you need results now, you want to win the championship now, like totally get that part. It makes a lot of sense. So my thing with Red Bull is like, if they're always looking for that driver today, then I don't know, I just feel like they're going to keep on going through drivers because like, you know, they get one driver, hey, he didn't perform in 7 races, get a new one. Hey, this driver didn't perform in 10 races, get a new one. Hey, we gave this driver 2 years, he didn't perform, get a new one. And eventually, I guess, like, if you're just playing against the numbers, like, eventually you'll find your driver. But again, like, you can easily make the case, too, of, like, get the best driver you can get, support him, develop him, help him out in the best way, and put everything in his favor to perform that, you know, to the level that you want him to. I mean, I don't know. That just seems like a better route to take rather than like continually, you know, churning out drivers. And this is especially true if your benchmark of comparison is always like Max Verstappen, right? Like if that is like, hey, this is where we want to be, like that's the baseline, then like, you know, what driver is really gonna, you know, reach those levels? And so my thing with Checo is like, I would, you know, if possible, I would like to see him in a different team, right? Like if that's possible, I would like to see Checo go somewhere else. Again, I'm not sure if that's possible because I believe all 2024 seats are taken. There's only so many teams and so many seats. Maybe there's not a market for, you know, Checo out there and no one really wants him. So, you know, that can potentially also play out. But, you know, if I was him, if he has the option, I'd say move on. And it's interesting to see just because, you know, everyone right now is kind of on the hate train or trolling or whatever against Sergio Perez. And the argument's always made of like, oh, you know, Daniel Ricciardo should be there, Liam Lawson, like someone else should be there, right? That's going to perform better. But it's like, it's all relative, you know, if your benchmark is Max, right? And you're like, look at this person dominating, like we need people like this. The next person, the next driver in that seat, they're going to be picked apart as well. Maybe not in the fashion of Sergio Perez. Maybe they'll be putting up better numbers, but in that kind of team where like everyone is looking at you because everyone doesn't like you, whether it's the teammates, whether it's other fans of F1 from other teams, like everyone wants to see you fall because you're dominating, because you're winning, because, you know, you whatever. It's like they'll find another way, another reason, another perspective to tear down whoever the other driver is, right? Like think about it. If Daniel Ricciardo, right, a fan favorite, everyone likes him, right? At least mostly everyone. If he goes to Red Bull, right, and replaces Checo, right? Just what ifs, right? And he doesn't perform to the level that he should, that Red Bull expects him to, right? He's putting up numbers better than Sergio, but let's say he's not to the level that Red Bull wants him, or he's not performing well at all, right? Let's say he has the same performance that he had in McLaren. Are the fans still gonna be nice to him? Is the media still gonna be nice to him? Will his teammates still be nice to him? All I'm saying is like whenever you're on a championship winning team, like just that's the way it goes. Like you just have way more pressure, right? The fans, you know, everyone wants to see a 1-2 every single time, and like when it doesn't happen, it's like, well, this person, that person, they're not performing. What's going on? They have this car, and then the media and the fans and your team. And this is just my personal opinion. I don't have any sources or data on this, but I can only imagine like both Alex Albon and Pierre Gasly, they're looking at everything that's happening around Checo and Red Bull, and they're just thinking to themselves like, I'm glad I left there. Like, I wouldn't want to be in that position. Or maybe they're saying, yeah, like, you know, kind of like a wink to Checo, like, I know what you're going through right now. Because, I mean, look, like Alex Albon at Williams, like he's being that guy for Williams and he's leading the charge. Pierre Gasly, honestly, haven't really kept up with him. But it's like they're not expecting him to go and be, you know, to get on podium every single weekend. And he's doing great for what the team needs him to be. And it's just like, you know, you want to be on a championship contending team, right? And you want to be at a top team. But, you know, in a situation like this, is like, is it really better to be a number 2 at Red Bull or a number 1 somewhere else, right? I mean, just, you know, which one would you prefer? Because obviously, like, you want to be winning. You want to be in a fast car. You actually want to be able to compete. But if the price is just constant pressure from the fans, from the media, from your team, like, I don't know, right? I mean, it just pick your poison. And the last thing I'll say is like, if you're a driver like Checo, like Alex Albon, like Pierre Gasly, like Nick De Vries, like you can't even really, you don't enjoy F1, you don't enjoy racing right now. You're no longer doing what you just want to do, right? Because it's so much pressure, right? When Alex Albon and Pierre Gasly were in the Red Bull seat, it's like from race number 1, pressure, like, oh, I have to perform, I have to save the seat. And it's like, it's no letting off. So it's like, they can't even, it's one of those things of like, if you start your own business or something, and you start this bakery because you love baking, and then as you run the business, you work the business, you're like, man, like all this pressure and headaches and obstacles and stress that I have, like I'm not even focused on baking anymore. I'm focused on marketing, advertising, customer service, financing. Like I can't even enjoy the one thing that like I started this for. So I can only imagine as well, like, right now Checo, or what Alex Albon was going through, or what Sergio Perez went through, or what Nick DeVries went through, of like, I just want to race. And it's like, it's so much pressure. The benchmark is set so high, like give me time to perform and not perform. Again, you can go in many directions with what I just said. I mean, Logan Sargent having, or Lance Stroll having, the most the worst performances of all drivers. So, it's just, there's a lot going on. I just feel for the guy, because I can, you can just see how much pressure he gets put on him, right or wrong. Yes, like whether it's deserved or not, like it just sucks. I'm going to go ahead and end the video right here. I'd love to know your thoughts. Do you think he's going to stay at Red Bull? Should he move? Is he going to stay past 2024? Are they going to cut him soon? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below.